tradition itself, the history of Bafut and what Bafut did during the colonial time.
Exactly.
And so you gave us that undiluted education, but still, despite these sacrifices that you're making, Mr. President, we still had people on the social media saying, "Oh, you're doing all of these daily briefings, or you were trying to speak to the people in their local dialect." Because I remember you could greet people you could say one or two words in all of these local dialect of these states. And people, instead of appreciating this sacrifice, this enormous sacrifice, because others are sleeping, having their daily lives going on, but you are in the studio studying, reading the history of Ambazonia, educating our people. But they come up to say you're trying to posture yourself to gain the people's law and try to project yourself. You're just trying to gain sympathy for people to like you, to become the leader of the Ambazonian liberation. What do you have to say to these people? Because it's still mind-blowing for people to even still think like that in this day and age during this revolution.
No, it's normal, and you should pray for them. Trust me, they need your sympathy rather than your rebuke. What I've realized in the notion of servitude and even imprisonment, you become accustomed to the narrative that the enemy, or the price tag that the enemy has placed on your head, and it becomes very difficult for you to break away from that narrative, because you've adjusted yourself to it. And sometimes those who rise up and gain knowledge or have access to knowledge and are able to educate to ensure liberation are seen as attempting to stir the enemy for more repression. I remember when I was in Boya, some students thought, I was creating the condition for more repression. And what if the regime gets angry and multiplies the fees instead by 20? I remember in Victoria when we were fighting against the government delegate. One time in Cassava Farm, we were, tossing stones at the helicopters, and entire neighborhoods were like, "Get the hell out of here. You are inviting the helicopter gunships to kill us." So it's a normal mindset of people who have been oppressed. Knowledge is liberating, and sometimes they are afraid because the status quo is known, is comforting, is predictable. And acquiring knowledge, knowing that you are a slave, some people don't like that. As far as posturing, there is nothing to posture for, as you've indicated. I barely sleep. This is war. Meetings upon meetings, 10, 15, 20 from midnight every time. And you have to be awake. You have to monitor the forces. You have to understand the enemy. There is no pay, and you lose money on a daily basis. Nobody postures for this kind of, this kind of an endeavor. As far as to be loved, I think Ambazonians love me. Ambazonians believe in me. Ambazonians like what I'm doing. They have been manipulated, they have been hijacked, they have been attacked. And I think I do it from an altruistic perspective. I don't expect anything. I don't want to become anything. I just, like every Ambazonian, want to be free. And that's what we all should be focused in getting.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Mr. President. Like you said, Ambazonians love you, and Ambazonians are so grateful to have a leader like yourself, because you bring yourself to that level where an ordinary Ambazonian will pick up their phone and call you and complain to you about certain things happening in their own private lives. And you are there patiently enough listening and then providing solution. And that is something that most leaders do not have. We've seen people come up and so arrogant in a way that even their own close executives cannot speak to them freely. But in the Ambazonian Governing Council, where you are the leader, where you are the president, and also the leader of our liberation, you've given us the freedom to be able to express ourselves, especially somebody like me, Mr. President.
So, you know thyself.
You've given us that freedom. You are not the kind of leader who comes and say, oh, it is A and it stays A. you have a team in the AGOVC that say, oh no, Mr. President, this is not the Ambazonia we want to be. I like the fact they'll always remind you that no, we are coming from this system, we will not go back into this system. And this is what we are looking for in a leader that listens to his people, a leader that understand the pain of the people and provide solution to those the challenges that the people are having. And we are so grateful to have you. Those who think that you are not the leader for Ambazonia, I feel sorry for them, because by all means they're just looking for ways to come back.
No, those people,
our arms are open.
Those people pray for me more than you think. I'm telling you, we were making the joke the other day. But just like a joke, somebody said, Chris Anu had that I'm dead. And he said, oh my God, we are finished. You know, so recall when the news came out that I've been arrested. The first person who called me was Compassion. He called and was panicking. So they love me. They don't, you see, they don't simply understand how they can accept that one of theirs, you know, could be so dedicated for altruistic purposes. And I think on a daily basis, our work, our dedication and continuous progress that we'll make will open most of their eyes.
Thank you very much. And you are totally correct. Like Don Pacho being the first person to call you and shouting, oh, I hope you're doing okay. Chris Anu, like, we are finished. That is to tell you, these are the same people who ban you, who exiled you from your own land. So we are grateful, Mr. President, for what you're doing. So I just wanted you to know that we truly love and appreciate you. If we don't say these things to you sometime in our own groups, I want to say it on air so that it should go down in record. Let Ambazonians know that, let Ambazonians be proud to have a leader like you, the one that has stood with them through thick and thin. And you have promised them freedom, and I know for a fact that freedom you will give to them. So thank you very much, Mr. President. And okay, let's get down to other matters.